First time I went to a rodeo, I stood up and shouted, "This is my first rodeo." If I had a nickel for every time I had to retake math in high school, I'd have 17 cents. I went to the grocery store to buy a loaf of bread, and I brought it to the cashier, and he said, "Wow, you look really familiar." I said, "That's strange, you look really familiar too." I never figured out who he was, but he was a damn good kisser. My ex-girlfriend used to love it when I would bring her flowers. I think it's because watching me die took too long. I really hate the rain. I think rain is God's way of saying, "Bad day at work? Aw. See you outside, asshole." I found my high school yearbook the other day. I was flipping through it and I still can't figure out why the blank section stained in tears is called autographs. I once had a roommate who was incredibly homophobic. He wouldn't even eat a banana because he said it looked too gay. Once I caught him masturbating with an oven mitt. I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm not going to touch a dick with my bare hands." I said, "Well, hurry up, I have to get the fish sticks out of the oven." I went through an R. Kelly phase where I did incredibly illegal things, but made sure I had video proof of it. My mom thinks it's hilarious when her dog starts humping my leg, but suddenly it gets weird when I tilt my head back and close my eyes. I don't have any skeletons in my closet because I usually get rid of the body once the vagina wears out. I don't think there's a situation in the entire world that can't be solved by throwing fistfuls of money at it. Except a forest fire. That would be counterproductive. I once had an idea for a TV show called "You're as Smart as a Sixth Grader," where the winner would receive a GED. I don't think I've ever seen my mother as sad or upset as the day she went to go have a paternity test done to see if I was really hers. I have a daughter. I had to punish her the other day. It's not easy. I think the hardest part about having to punish her is trying to figure out what to do with all of the dead puppies. Why is it every time I go to an Asian college party, the beer always tastes frat? Pull your socks off of that one.
I'm wearing socks.
like to impress women by going to a park and throwing a football around by myself. Last weekend, I went out on a date with a beautiful black woman. We had a really nice time. I took her to a Japanese restaurant, and I think she was impressed by the way that I ordered our food with a Japanese accent. Anyway, I took her back to her apartment, and she stopped and turned to me and said, "Chuck, have you ever been with a sister before?" I said, "No, just a few cousins." The other day I was supposed to meet my sister for lunch. I show up to the restaurant about 1 o'clock. I sit down at the table and she says, "Where have you been?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I told you to be here at noon." I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "I said verbatim, be at the restaurant at noon." I said, "I don't remember you saying verbatim."
Too big a word, you guys?
I don't want to say that my ex-girlfriend was dumb, but on our first date I slipped her a placebo roofie and it knocked her out. Hey, I bet duct tape was a real pain in the ass before they started putting it on a roller. I once wanted to start a company that did nothing but transport wheat, just so I could call it Hall & Oates. I walked up to my car the other day to find a police officer applying a ticket to the windshield. I said, "What seems to be the problem, officer?" He said, "Well, sir, you can't park here unless your parking is validated." I said, "Oh, but it is validated." He said, "Do you have any proof?" I said, "Why, yes. I took a picture of my car and sent it to my friend Jimmy, and he thought I did an outstanding job." I heard that if you put a gay seashell up to your ear, you can hear Billy Ocean. I tried reverse psychology on my therapist, and now she owes me $700. She once asked me, "What do you think your greatest weakness is?" I told her, "Well, it's probably the fact that my tongue is so close to my teeth." When we're in session and I feel that things are going a little too well, I like to keep things interesting by standing up and taking a shit on her couch. She's really cute, so I like to keep going back. Summertime. I love summertime. Summertime reminds me of when Dad and I would put on some baseball mitts, go out in the backyard and toss the ball around a little bit. No, wait. That was Dad and the neighbor's kid. Summertime reminds me of when Mother and I would put on dresses and have fashion shows. Once my dad caught me putting on lipstick. He said, "What in the hell are you doing? Does that make you feel pretty or something?" I said, "No, Daddy. I put on the lipstick to look pretty. I pee sitting down to feel pretty." I'm Chuck Diesel. Thanks a lot.
Told you.